And welcome into the Monday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership with a buzz. It is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, how we doing? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm fine, but I mean, we just saw the last 5 minutes of a Charmed episode with Alyssa Milano looking like she could launch 100 wars, but let's watch 5 straight minutes of Goo Goo Dolls.
I'm sure a great episode. Goo Goo Dolls with quite the cameo in there. It's a long time.
They really leaned in the Goo Goo Dolls.
I like Goo Goo Dolls, but that was
another episode. You got to take this off the TV.
I don't know if Joe's going to be okay over here.
My
God. A lot of Alyssa Milano going on.
People just don't appreciate Alyssa Milano.
We do on this program here in the morning.
That's right.
Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Oh, doing great. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back, Robby.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Love that hat.
Yes.
Snag a new lid there.
Little Mighty Ducks.
Is that from the trip?
I have actually had it before the trip, but I think I got it down there at some point.
Okay.
But I needed a Disney hat and was like, yeah, we'll go Mighty Ducks. Why not? It's good stuff.
So, yeah.
A lot of comments on it.
How's the mouse?
The mouse is great. We have entered officially with the toddler into the Frozen era, which she was previously unaware of. But Anna and Elsa, big members of our household right now. Let me tell you.
So okay. So did you watch the movie first?
So we rode the ride. They got a Frozen ride.
There we go.
And we rode it. Yeah. And she loved it. And then we watched the movie, and we're totally screwed.
And that's it.
It's just done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
it's hard
all
to
it's
beat
on.
Frozen, man. It's hard to beat Frozen.
All it's on in our house right now is Frozen. Frozen
2.
Robby and Rexrode. We've watched Frozen 2.
Was there a Frozen 3?
I don't think so.
No. Frozen
Not
2.
Yet.
Frozen 2 was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
Frozen's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like of the Disney movie, like Frozen is good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of singing, which about every 15 seconds they break out into song, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
we got another song.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's true. Has she watched? I think that this is one of my favorite. I mean, went through watching all these, for a time period. Oh my gosh, the Rapunzel one.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Tangled.
She Tangled.
Yeah,
she has not seen that yet.
Because that one, I mean, I think that's one of the best ones they've done.
Okay, I've not seen it, so I need to check that out.
Yeah. So if you get to the point where like the Frozen's like, oh my gosh, try a little Tangled. I don't know if is Tangled for a little bit older. Maybe you have to be. Should it be?
Yeah.
I mean, all these movies have like adult themes that like
should be probably okay.
We get that the kids don't get, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So Tangled would be a good curveball potential for you.
Okay. I have to keep that one in mind because I can tell you
might need one.
The Frozen's. We're gonna get there pretty quickly with me. All right, let's watch anything else right now. She does. We flipped on the show a few times as we were going to and from places, and she just points out, Joe, there's Joe. So
nice. All right.
Joe Rexrode, big celebrity for Allison Stanley.
There we go. Keeping focused on Robby and Rexrode.
It's
even on vacation.
That's right. We got a lot of things to get to today on the program. Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us at 8 o'clock. We will get into all things Titans with him. Titans held a practice at Nissan Stadium over the weekend. A couple different takeaways from that to get into coming up here in just a few minutes as well. I do want to start on this real quick. And I was out last week, and obviously the passing of Aaron Donnick, just tragic. And I saw Willie come back on last week, and I just wanted to say, like, I just thought that he displayed incredible strength last week, and it was really inspiring to watch him get back on the air and listen to some of the things he had to say about his wife, and just the response with the passing of Aaron Donnick from our listeners. Watching that from afar was really, really cool to see how many lives she touched. So obviously a horrible situation, but just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no doubt. It's mind-boggling to me, like how Willie has handled this. And we replayed actually with Kaharski on Friday. We replayed Willie and what his opening comments from when he came back to DVD. The outpouring from listeners has been amazing. The stories about her. But I mean, Kaharski had a great story about her. So, it's it really is in tragedy. I agree with you. It's inspiring.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So we appreciate all the responses And I know Willie does too. He talked about this when he came back of just it's been really difficult for him to get back to everybody, but he sees them and really appreciates that. So keep those coming for Willie. Titans, we'll get into the Cam Ward part of this here in just a few minutes. Also another injury that took place over the weekend that we'll get into in just a few minutes as well. I do want to kind of start on some things that I missed last week on the Will Levis front. What was your take on Will Levis pulling the plug on the season right before it began?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Titans don't love it, and so I guess what my question would be like, was this kind of the idea all along? Like, I'm not going to go through this stuff. Again, to me, if that's the case, that strategy with your agent, I don't know. Or is it just as simple as, I mean, this is one of those things, I don't know the answer here. Is it he went through everything, they talked about it, he went through everything, and finally is like, yeah, it's just not getting better, so gonna do it. The timing, though, is like,
timing's not great.
Yeah, the timing's not great because, and again, I mean, Kaharski's asking the question last week, the right question, which is, okay, well, we watched him during the spring throwing, didn't seem like it was an issue. Was he full go? And they're like, yep, it's full go. I mean, you can tell they're not happy about it. And Brian Callahan was asked about, well, what about like Levis coming back? And he's like, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think we're going to see. I could be wrong. But I don't think we're going to see Will Levis take another snap in any sort of form for the Titans again. Now, how does that happen? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it comes back around. Okay, so next year they can display him in the preseason and move him. But I feel like, as we talked about before, moving him would have made sense earlier. You just move on, give him another chance somewhere else, and then just because, like, I mean, he's kind of a distraction at this point, right?
I would agree. Now, I also I saw, and this happened, and we're going to get into this with Traylon Burks a little bit too. More of this chatter I saw last week was coming from around the league rather than here locally when we're kind of in the weeds of it here. But it's like, well, now Brandon Allen's going to have to be the backup quarterback for the Titans. It's like, yeah, I think Brandon Allen was going to be the backup quarterback for the Titans regardless. Like, I understand that Will Levis is more talented than Brandon Allen, but they brought Brandon Allen in here for a reason, and I don't think it was ever for Brandon Allen to be the third-string quarterback. That's just me.
Yeah, well, I think that they brought him in to be QB2, but also with the idea that Levis would be somewhere else. I mean, and again, it's not like, I mean, I have no idea. There's no way they're unrealistic about the return on Levis. It's not going to be anything.
No.
So I agree. Now, I mean, I know like Jared is like, he had no chance to be QB2. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I feel like Levis, if he was out here on the practice fields, he couldn't have played great this month and convinced them. Okay, actually, yeah. Like I mean, Brandon Allen has displayed very little.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Brandon Allen is a low level QB2.
I agree.
So but I think that they're fine with. I don't think this has some big impact. It's just annoying to them that after all of that we get to this.
How about I have to say something on this real quick. I know this is old news last week, but are we just going to have every year the Titans have a player that just retires in the office, like right before camp? It's like, hey, I've been around the Titans for a few weeks, and I think I'd rather just stop playing football. Like I don't
like football anymore.
Football has been the passion of my life, and then I got here, and I'd rather go do anything else. Like I'm going to go work anywhere else than right here, right now. Shout out to Lorenzo Carter.
Yeah,
the latest
made me hate football. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, they've had, and I even going back to, what's his name, the great pass rusher from Atlanta who
Vic Beasley.
Vic Beasley, who Vrabel is going to coach him up.
Yeah. He retired. He just didn't tell anybody until after.
Yeah, exactly. He was retired. Like they actually were paying him when he was retired. Yeah. It's quite I don't know what that's all about.
So
they're on quite a run.
Yeah, they are on quite a run. They had their practice at Nissan Stadium over the weekend. Cam Ward generated some headlines from that, which we'll get to here in just a few minutes. Traylon Burks with an injury, Joe, and breaks his collarbone and is going to miss at least the first part of the season. And we'll see exactly what his timeline ends up looking like after that. But Burks, it is kind of amazing. Like, you're talking about you're a weekend to camp, and you're already talking about yet another injury with Traylon Burks when they've not put the pads on yet. They've not even come close to really having all that much contact out there. He's laying out for a football, and here we are already talking about a Traylon Burks injury.
Yeah. And, I must say the topic, the way you wrote out the topic for the next segment is exactly, I feel the exact same way. Like some of the reaction to this is just like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
It's
really
crazy to me
yeah.
that I saw some of this on Saturday. We're going to get into that coming up next. Traylon Burks goes down, and there's something about all this that I just don't understand. I really don't. And we'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Traylon Burks sustaining a fractured collarbone at the open practice at Nissan Stadium on Saturday. So yet another injury that the former first-round pick for the Tennessee Titans is dealing with. Goes apparently, TD put this out there, and this has been widely reported. Tried to make a diving one-handed catch during team period of practice and landed on the collarbone. And now we're talking about another injury for Treylon Burks, and we'll see exactly what that means for his timeline. Let me say this, Joe. I legitimately feel bad for Treylon Burks. I do. Like, the guy has had terrible injury luck. Like, it's to the point now with how many different injuries he's had where you just have to say the dude is injury prone. He cannot stay healthy out there. And I do legitimately feel bad for him because he seems like a really good guy, and it just doesn't look like it's going to work out for him in the NFL. So let me start with that. I feel bad for him. I really do. But the way that some of the reaction was on Saturday when he got hurt and his collarbone injury, both here locally and around the league, some of the discussion around him of, well, now the Titans are going to be without Treylon Burks, and what are they going to do? Like, that's a former first-round pick out there. And it's like, I don't think his injury, just purely from a football standpoint, I don't think his injury changes anything about the wide receiver room for the 2025 NFL roster of the Tennessee Titans one bit. I don't think it changes anything. I don't think he was making the team. I think it was going to be harder. It's so hard for him to make this team based on where they're at with their roster right now and just how unreliable he's been. I think he would have had to have been otherworldly in training camp to make this team. And some of the reaction of like, well, who's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for the Titans now that Treylon Burks gone? It's like, you guys are just not in touch with what's going on out there. I don't think, again, I feel bad for him. He was not making this team. He just wasn't. And we'll see what he does now and how the injury kind of affects things and where the Titans go from there, from their roster standpoint. But I don't think that injury has any tangible effect on the football part of this one bit for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, way overstated. And, yeah, 2 things about it that are annoying. One is, yeah, I feel bad for him too. I think sometimes, it's like people shouldn't be mad at Treylon Burks right now. Like, it sucks for him. Like, as much as you think it sucks, if you still were harboring hope that he was going to really help your football team, again, that was a faint hope at this point. But at this point, I mean, you got to feel bad for the guy. The guy can't. I mean, the guy's gonna have a hard time staying in the league because he can't stay in one piece. And again, he's been hurt multiple times by like high effort plays.
Yeah.
It's like never ever dive for a ball again. Well, for whatever reason, whenever you dive for a ball, and he is a big body guy, so I guess that I guess that kind of explains it. Like, it just something bad happened. So I feel bad for him. I mean, I understand people, if you want to go back and say, again, John Robinson, is just the worst move in franchise history or how one of the worst moves, that's fine. But, yeah, I feel sympathy for him. And then on your other point, yeah, I mean, look, he still has the talent level to where, if he had a great camp, because of the state of this particular receiver room, I mean, it's possible that he would have made the team. But even that, he certainly isn't high in the pecking order. I mean, I just don't see any way he's high in the pecking order that would have taken, a lot. At this point, you were really operating on hope, and it was already a remote possibility. So I saw some reaction too. And some of that is, it's like the NFL at large, is people just not knowing the Titans, right? I mean, I saw when Levis got hurt last week. It was like, well, I guess that QB competition in Nashville isn't happening. Like, oh, okay. So you pay close attention to Tennessee Titans. Yeah. So some of it is that, but yeah, this is not ultimately. I don't think he was going to make the team either. I just feel it just sucks for him because from here, he'll get a shot somewhere else, but at this point, you have to just assume he's not going to be able to stay healthy.
No, I think you had to assume that anyway. And now this is just another log on top of that. And again, that's why I say he would have had to have just been unbelievable in training camp, because I think even prior to this injury, he had reached the point where if you're Brian Callahan and the coaching staff, you're looking at him and you're saying, all right, let's say he did have a pretty good camp. How do you trust it? How do you possibly trust translating what you saw in camp to what he brings to the table on the field? Because he's not done any of that at this point in his career. I mean, you're talking about Treylon Burks, his Titans career in terms of on-field production is probably over. Like, he's probably done at this point. He has given you 53 catches for 699 yards and 1 touchdown. That's what you've gotten out of Traylon Burks.
Beautiful touchdown.
It was 53 catches, 699 yards, and 1 touchdown. Which, by the way, were numbers that some people were talking he should surpass in year 1 with the Titans as a rookie, and that's where his Titans career, I believe, is going to end. 53 catches.
Yep. All around. And again, going back to that move, I mean, it is now that I think, can put a bow on Traylon Burks with the Titans. Yeah, that move will be studied. That John Robinson trade will be studied and discussed for a long time to come. You know, it's among the things about it that were just so ridiculous. It's just to put that kind of pressure on a rookie. And again, I'm not saying that's why it didn't work out. You know, it didn't work out because, you know, like the guy who can't stay healthy is probably the biggest reason careers don't work out in the NFL, I believe.
Yes, that's probably, that's fair.
But when you have a great player, oh, this guy kind of looks like him, and he's also big body SEC receiver. Okay, great. We'll just swap him in. Oh, just awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Claudius on the YouTube chat says, did anyone see Matt Castle on the NFL Network call him Tyrone Burks? I did. They were interviewing Cam Ward.
He spaced.
Yeah, and he called him Tyrone Burks, which is
the T.
It's like, wow.
He couldn't remember his name and then just went with his team name. And it's like,
just go Burks. Just say Burks.
It's just Burks, man. It's all good.
Yeah. I did not see that. How was Matt Castle?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Okay interview with Cam Ward. I mean, they asked him a lot of so you guys have a veteran offensive line. What do you think about that? It's like, all right. I think he's answered the same question.
They asked about showing up at 5 a.m.
I think they did at some point.
I hope so.
It's good.
He's like, I get there about 5:30.
Yeah, it's like, guys, we've established Cam Ward gets in the building early.
So he changed it to 5:30.
I think he said 5:30.
I think he did.
Very disappointing.
Sleep, getting a little bit more sleep.
Yeah,
a little bit more sleep.
Way after Brinker gets there. Brinker gets there at like 2 a.m. from what I hear.
Yeah, I saw that last week. So we'll see what Traylon Burks does from here. I think you hit it right on the head. Like, I think he's going to have a tough time staying in the league. Maybe, next year somebody takes a shot on him because he's a former first-round pick and they bring him into camp. But I got a feeling we may not see Traylon Burks take an actual NFL snap ever again.
That may not be. He obviously has traits. He's a good at. I mean, look, the guy, I think he still gets dogged by how he showed up. He was out of shape, and then all the stuff that happened with that first mini camp or whatever that was, OTA or whatever, where, then the asthma, all that stuff. But I mean, really, he has worked hard to try to make it, and he was having a really good camp before he got hurt a couple years ago. I mean, So it's not like he's just come out and dogged it. This is not like, this is not an Isaiah Wilson bust story. It's an injury one. So, but he'll get another chance. It's as you continue to sustain these injuries, how do you expect you're going to how you're going to start avoiding them all of a sudden?
Yeah, that's a good question on that part of it. Like, at this point, if you're him, do you look around and say, do I want to keep doing this? Like, I know the money, if you can, you're a first round pick, you've gotten paid some decent money to this point, and the production has not been there, and the money moving forward when you get beyond this deal is going to be very minimal by NFL standards and not guaranteed at all. Right. So do you want to continue to put your body through this is going to be something he's going to have to figure out too. Because again, like you've talked about, it is wild to think about how he has sustained some of his injuries. Like there's the one that everybody saw in Philadelphia where he got smoked in the middle of the end zone and in the head, and you're talking about a concussion. But I guess it was the Pittsburgh game on Thursday night a few years ago where he's diving,
laying out for
a catch, gets hurt there, and it was scary. I mean, that one was scary to go back and watch.
Yeah,
and now you got this one
delay,
in practice where you're laying out for a catch and you break your collarbone. Like, it's pretty wild the different ways that he's been hurt.
Yeah, and it's just some guys that just can't avoid it, and he's one of those guys. K. Dodd says that trade is why John Robinson's still unemployed. Well, I would argue that John Robinson, I don't know what's next for him, but he's continuing to get paid well.
He's getting paid very well.
So there is that. But yeah, it doesn't help. I mean, the GM second chance thing is difficult anyway. And I mean, this does keep reminding people, of like that movie made, like the worst movie made of all the movies he made.
Yes,
among many rough ones late.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Cam Ward turning some heads over the weekend with some throws that he made. We'll react to that. Coming next, take your thoughts on Cam Ward as well. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063, The Game. 1025 The Game and Souls for Souls have teamed up for a school fundraiser, Souls for the 615, to provide new shoes for kids experiencing homelessness in Nashville. You can help a child in Middle Tennessee step into the new school year with confidence by donating $20 for a new pair of athletic shoes. For more information and to donate, visit thegamenashville.com/shoes. Souls for the 615, sponsored by Mezzero and 12 South. Go check them out for the handcrafted cocktails, bold plates, great happy hours, and elevated hospitality. Again, thegamenashville.com/shoes, where you can check that out. Cam Ward throwing the football around, slinging it around a little bit over the weekend at the open practice at Nissan Stadium. And Joe, a couple of throws have made the rounds in the NFL, including one where he escapes to his left. He's getting chased. May or may not have been sacked on the play, but he throws one back across the body right over the middle of the field. Calvin Ridley hits him in stride. And that was a wow throw that Cam Ward made over the weekend that generated a lot of buzz around the league. Made a couple of more throughout the day as well. And it got people talking about Cam Ward. He hops on the NFL Network after the practice is over and starts talking about that. And then you have some headlines coming out of Cam Ward made some pretty good throws out there. What's he going to look like for the Titans? What did you make of some of those throws that we saw over the weekend from Cam Ward?
Very good practice throws. I'm not trying to throw cold water or anything. The first one you described, it was
a pretty good throw.
It was nice, man.
I did see one Titans fan. I can't remember where I saw it, but you get to this time of year, Joe, my For You page on Twitter is deep into like Titans football accounts that I don't actually follow, but they pop up on my screen. And it was like, I think there's only like 3 quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw. And it's like,
okay. Yeah.
Right.
Let's not. No. But, I thought one of the more interesting things was the interview. This is great. We have a 4-hour pre-show meeting. I was distracted by Alyssa Milano, but
you were.
But do we have by chance the TD interview with Cam? I can find it if not. But
from this past
it was
weekend?
from post game.
No, I do not.
I'll paraphrase. It's fine. I'll paraphrase Ridley. Essentially, he was like, it's really. I don't know that he was like, trying to compare him to Will Levis, but he's like, it's really good to like have a quarterback who can like put air under the ball and let you run under, Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that, and this is kind of, although I think Cam Ward has a bigger arm than say Shedeur Sanders. My thing with Shedeur Sanders is like, look at the touch on the throws, look at the accuracy and the placement. That's why I thought he was the best QB in this draft. That is, Levis and Malik Willis, for example. Last year we were like, who has the bigger arm? They can both throw it through a barn, right? Big cannon arm. But do you have the touch on throws like that? And I do think we're seeing, and you saw it at Miami too. He's got a really nice touch on the deep ball. Now, Levis that was supposed to be one of the best things about Levis. He did throw some great deep balls too, like his first game. But I feel like there is an upgrade there. There's obviously a huge upgrade right now at this moment with Ridley and Ward on the same page and making these plays. Whereas like 3 weeks from now, last year, we're still asking Ridley and Levis, are you guys ever going to get in sync? So that is hugely different.
That to me is the most meaningful thing of all this. Like I would expect Cam Ward being a number 1 overall pick. He needs to make some wow throws throughout training camp, right? Like I would be very disappointed if he didn't make a few throws in training camp where you're like, wow, look at that throw by the number 1 overall pick. So great. He made some this weekend. That's awesome. Let's go see what happens when the games come around. What I take away from the first week so far, and again, I wasn't there. Like I've been in Florida, so it's not like I've had the front row seat to this, but just some of the things that I've heard you guys discuss that, people have written about is that him and Ridley seem to really be finding each other. And that to me is probably as meaningful as anything else when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Like you said it last year, it took forever. Like it was so long. I mean, they never got to a point in camp between Levis and Ridley where they were connecting with any sort of regularity.
I mean, well into the season, we were like, oh my God, this Ridley signing looks terrible.
Yeah. And was it the Colts game early in the year where he got targeted 8 times and didn't catch a ball?
Right.
It's hard to do in the NFL with your number 1 guy. So the fact that those two appear to be really building some chemistry this early into camp, I think is a really good thing. Now, I heard, some Titans friends of mine were talking about this, and it's a fair question. All right, Ridley looks pretty good so far. How much of that is Ridley? How much of that is the defense and the corner group that he's going up against without L'Jarius Sneed right now? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is. We always ask some version of that question each year in training camp of how good is your guy and what does that mean for how bad maybe the other side of the ball actually is at this point. But I think if you're a Titans fan and you're watching not only some of the throws that he made on Saturday, but who he made them to in Calvin Ridley, I think that has to pique your interest a little bit. You got to be excited about that.
Yeah, and look, every defense and every play, there's a weak spot. Like there's a play to be made on every play. I mean, like any defensive coordinator will tell you, like you may get a sack, you may have a perfectly timed blitz and blow it up, but if you miss the tackle, you're exposed maybe in multiple areas, and even in when you drop into coverage, there is someone open. There's something. That play to me was one of those. He just found a hole and dropped it in beautifully. Here actually, so Easton Freeze wrote about this. AZ Sports wrote about the TD interview. Here's the quote from Ridley. Quote, you see that touch he had on it? Yeah, he gave me time to run under it. They're easy catches, so that's what I love about him. It's not, hard catches. He has some touch. He let me run right under it, and it was soft. So, man, that's all a receiver's ever wanted, end quote. So there you go.
It's not, Again, very difficult to catch the football from him.
Yeah. He's not throwing huge, like, concrete blocks at me like Will Levis did. No. I mean, I have no idea if he's making a subtle comparison there or not, but all I know is they seem to be doing well together. And if you're the Titans and you want to have any offense this year, there's a guy who actually has the talent to produce for you.
Oh, and we've talked about this before too. And, TD brought this up throughout minicamp and throughout the offseason of it seems pretty clear that Ridley is taking on more of a leadership role, and it's been a tangible thing. Again, still the most important thing for him is how productive are you going to be this year? But, the fact that he seems to be really invested, and he was even talking over the weekend about, like, don't worry about the fans. Like, when we give them something to watch, they're going to come. I ain't worried about the fans. Like it just seems like it's a different version of Calvin Ridley heading into this year. Again, what does that mean when the football gets played? We'll see, because that's really the only thing I care about. How productive is he going to be? But it's nice to see those two connecting this early in camp when it was a total absence of it last year.
Yeah, it is very, very different. So, look, it's going to be overblown. It's going to be over replayed.
Yes.
But at least it's better than like not having anything, or it's better than like, oh God, you're going to show that terrible interception again. There's like some weird thing going on with JJ McCarthy and the Vikings. Have you seen this thing?
Yeah.
It's like there's like Bears accounts that are like, I don't know. I know our beat writer, I think we've had him on, Alec. He like retweeted this and said, by the way, this is a clip from last year, and it's not true that he's thrown like 15 picks in camp or whatever. Like Bears fans are trying to just like fake news the Vikings right now, the JJ McCarthy. So, who knows? You got to look out there. Are there any Jags accounts?
Quarterback right now.
Yeah, exactly. So. Are there any Jags accounts out there that are like saying Cam Ward's like a total disaster? I don't know. Is this the new thing in the NFL?
We'll have to get our resident Jacksonville expert, Corey Curtis, on the show later. I'm sure he'll take a dig or two at the Jags.
He's probably out there saying, hey, Travis Hunter looks like he runs about a 5.2 40, huh, Jags? John Jags fans?
They've actually got him playing defensive end. Yeah. He's not playing cornerback or wide receiver.
He's really bulked up, I guess, huh? That's actually his spot all along.
PK put it this way. His Cam Ward's performance on Saturday at paulkuharski.com said, Cam Ward did some very nice things, looked poised and in control overall. Not everything was smooth, with a couple of mistakes and a couple of plays that qualified as getting the job done, and then went into some detail about what he saw from Cam Ward there. But all in all, the general consensus seems to be, and I think Jim Wyatt put this out there, that he felt like Saturday was Cam Ward's best day of practice to this point. So, again, we talked about it before camp. You're going to see some days where Cam Ward looks really good in training camp, and you're probably going to see some days where he and the offense don't look very good in training camp, and that's part of it. But does he, as camp goes on and we get closer to game time, does he start to show more control, more mastery of what they're asking him to do out there? That's really the only thing I care about with Cam Ward throughout campus. Are you getting to a point where by game one rolls around, are you as prepared as you can possibly be given your situation of not ever having played an NFL snap before to get out there, protect yourself, operate the offense?
Yeah. Yeah. And look, all indications are positive, you know? I would say at this point, there aren't huge red flags. There aren't the offense has definitely been dominated some by the defense, which early in camp, that's usually the case. I mean, if that didn't happen at all, boy, you'd really, I think, start to question this defense, right? So
Yes.
there'll be ups and downs, but I think right now, very early, not a ton of information, but it's mostly been good.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll take your thoughts on Cam Ward and the Titans. If you were there at Nissan Stadium and watched the practice on Saturday, we'll take your thoughts on that as well. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063, the game. Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and fantasy football is coming up. Make sure you select Twin Peaks for your fantasy football draft party. You can stay cool under pressure with 29-degree draft beers, bites for the whole team, plus a $50 bonus card for the commish and an additional $5 bonus card for every drafter as well. Call to book your draft party at the Twin Peaks Cool Springs or Madison locations, or you can visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasy draft for more info as well. Twin Peaks, fantasy football is coming up. Make sure you get your reservation today. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025, our phone number. As Ed points out on the text line, Joe, referring to Cam Ward, as the great Andy Dufresne said, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things.
Nice.
There's a lot of hope with Cam Ward right now based on some of the things that we've seen in week one.
Well done. I'd say there's a better chance that Cam Ward becomes at least a good quarterback in the NFL than Andy Dufresne making it through that stream of poop and starting a nice little bed and breakfast in Mexico.
Yeah, percentages are higher for Cam Ward for sure.
I mean, he did a good job of planning that all out, but still, man, that was tough.
I mean, that was on
that was threading a needle.
Always. I mean, look, I'm sure if we scrolled the TV right now, you could probably find Shawshank on somewhere. I found it at the Disney Resort last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's funny. It's really weird this comes up because this weekend we were flipping around, and I actually was hoping that it would come on, and it didn't. So
maybe
I hope
you're not looking for it.
Yeah, I hope we're not. I hope it never gets to the point where it's not frequently on, because everybody should watch that movie like 10 times.
When I see it on, I'll stop and watch it. I don't know. I will not always watch all of it, but I'll watch at least 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't. It not stop at least for a minute.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Great movie.
On the short list of all-time greats. And one that I've seen.
Yeah.
Better than Office Space.
Yeah. I would agree that it's better than Office Space, but I'm glad you saw Office Space and you can acknowledge that it's pretty freaking good.
It's good. It's good. I like it. Taking your thoughts on Cam Ward, 615-737-1025, our phone number. I over the next couple of weeks here, it's going to be interesting to see, I talked about his connection with Ridley. What about the rookie wide receivers? Can he develop a consistent rapport with either Io Manor, I guess Restrepo you can throw in there, DK? Like, how many of those guys start to really emerge over the next couple of weeks here, where by the time the first game comes around, you feel good about putting them on the field and them being able to give you something in week one? That's kind of that next step. Like him and Ridley and their connection is going to be the most important thing, because based on where their receiving core is right now, like Calvin Ridley should be targeted a lot this year. Like Calvin really needs to have the ball thrown his way a lot. And, the defenses are going to know that too. So they're going to do everything they can to try to take Calvin Ridley away. But does any of these rookies over the next couple of weeks here start to generate enough buzz in camp where it's like, man, Io Manor's looking great out there. Let's see if he's ready to go against Denver on week one and get significant snaps.
Yeah, that's early with him, being really cautious in my mind, but good indications. It's like that very first game, Ridley, Lockett. If I had to guess right now, like targets, my guess would be like those two would have like 80% of receiver targets in the first game. And if I'm wrong, and like Io Manor has made himself a key guy right from the jump, that's awesome. That's a great sign for a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he's even in the mix and in the rotation and getting like 20, 25 snaps or something like that in the first game, I think that's good.
I agree. Yeah. Ridley had 120 targets last year in 17 games. His career high was 2020, where he only played 15 games. He had 143 targets that year. Like, honestly, with where their offense is right now, like I think in Jacksonville he had 136. Like that's probably what I'm looking for, is 136 to 140 targets, somewhere in that neighborhood. With where their receiving core is right now, that's probably what Calvin Ridley needs to give you this year. You need to throw the ball his way a lot.
Yeah,
if you're the Titans.
He's great with the ball in his hands too. That's the thing. He may not be, a top number one receiver. He's a lower end number one receiver. He'd be a great number 2 receiver, but that's the reality of this receiving core. On this team, he's clearly the number 1 receiver. And so it was 120 targets last year. And how many catches?
He had 64 catches last year.
I mean, like basically a 50% rate.
That's
got to be way higher. So 140 targets and like 95 catches.
Yeah.
Something like that
Yeah.
would be much better. I mean, 50% on 120 targets is wild.
Yeah, he had 143 targets in 2020 and caught 90 passes. Like that's a little bit more what you're looking for there.
Right. That sounds like an NFL
it's pretty
season.
hard to do. Like and you're hoping if you're a Titans fan that is mostly to do with the quarterback throwing in the football last year of 64 catches on 120 targets. Now, I think we know if you watched him, a lot of it was on the quarterback. Some of it early, especially, was on him for sure.
But but that's the thing. What you hope, of course, is because we had the conversation with Michael Duraco last camp about Ridley and that offense and all that stuff and the slow start, and I think that was part of it. You can't put it all on Levis, but okay, well now he's been in for a whole year. He's been the guy. He's been in the system for a whole year. He's got a quarterback he likes better, clearly, who does some things better than Levis, and so you hope it takes off. Might end up being, everybody, everybody brace yourselves. Might end up being a good Rand Carthon signing.
They may end up. May have cooked with that signing.
Might have cooked.
The interesting
casserole.
The Lockett target number is going to be interesting to me too, because he went through a stretch from 2019 to 2023 where he was getting targeted basically 110 times a year, a little bit more than that. So he got targeted 110 times in 2019. And then after that, for the next 4 years, it was 132, 107, 117. And at age 31 in 2023, he still got targeted 122 times in that Seattle offense. Last year, even though he played in every game, it dropped all the way down to 74. He went from 122 targets in 2023 to 74 last year. So what does that tell you? And what is that number going to look like with the Titans this year? That to me is going to be really interesting. Like, does he approach 70 targets this year? Or are you going to look at it and you're going to be like, wow, they only targeted Tyler Lockett like 58 times throughout the year?
Yeah, good question. I think that Smith and Jigba made a big jump, right?
Yes.
Last year. That was part of it. But that does make you wonder about Lockett just becoming. Why do you become? Yeah, because last year he's 100 for 11, 30, and 6.
Yeah, Smith and Jigba.
Jackson Smith and Jigba with the Seahawks. So that's part of it that makes sense. The other part of it is like, okay, does that mean that Lockett diminished so much that he just became less of their offense? I think that's got to be part of it.
Well, there's coaching change too. You had a new coach in there. So what's that dynamic kind of look like? I guess my question is is there a scenario this year where the Titans, where you're targeting Ridley, whatever it is, 125 times, 130 times, and Lockett, you're able to get him, 65 or 70? Like, are you throwing the ball that much? Is there anybody else with the rookies that emerges that takes some of those targets away from those two?
Yeah. How much you target any tight ends?
Right. Exactly.
Any tight ends who are going to command a lot of targets? Gunnar Helm's out there making some plays, missing some plays. I don't have. I know he's the draft pick, and I think he's going to be a part of it, but I don't right now have any indication like he's all of a sudden just going to become, like some rookie of the year guy. Yeah. So, but I would think that Lockett would be second, and I would think there'd be Ridley, Gap, Lockett, Gap, and then who?
It's a good question.
There are multiple candidates, but I just don't know who becomes a regular. Again, you got Van Jefferson out there. You got Bryce Oliver out there. Any of these guys could potentially kind of become the third guy from whatever spot they're playing.
Brian Callahan said something over the weekend that, number one, I hope is true. And number two, if it is, hopefully means better things for the Titans on the defensive side of the ball than maybe I thought. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. We're live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. We will have Corey Curtis from News 2 for his weekly visit coming up at 8 o'clock. We will get into all things Tennessee Titans with him, taking your thoughts. In the meantime, on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, Brian Callahan said something over the weekend that caught my attention. And if it's true and it plays itself out in a tangible way for the Titans, maybe that means some better things early on for the defense than I thought. We've spent a whole lot of time talking about edge rusher around here and how thin it looks at edge rusher on paper. I mean, you got people retiring in the middle of the offseason right before training camp starts at edge rusher. Like, it's been a bad time at edge rusher for the Tennessee Titans. And you look at it and you say, my goodness, where is the pressure on the quarterback coming from? Who is going to get the quarterback to the ground at this edge rusher group right now? And we talked about Femi Oladejo, their second-round pick, and how it feels like, based on the fact that he just started playing that position last year, that maybe it'll take him some time at the NFL level before he's a productive NFL pass rusher. Well, apparently he has been turning heads a little bit at Titans camp and has impressed Brian Callahan with what he's seen to this point. Here is what Brian Callahan had to say on Femi Oladejo over the weekend.
Femi have to go through a similar transition that you saw James last year, or is he a little bit ahead because he got that month or two of rest?
No, Femi looks pretty comfortable. You can see he knows the position, he plays it. The one thing about Femi is he plays very physical and with a lot of enthusiasm. And you can play outside linebacker if you can do those things. The technique is coming along. He's learning every day. He's going against bigger people and all that stuff. But I've been pretty pleased with where Femi's at. Probably a bit ahead of the curve in terms of where I maybe expected him to be and where he is. So that's encouraging. And again, when we actually start to bang, we'll find out a lot more. So, but so far for him, it's been a good process.
So that was Callahan on Oladejo over the weekend. Says he's probably a little bit ahead of where he thought he would be at this point. Now, again, you're talking about a process to this point, Joe, that has not included people in pads hitting each other. So you have to take all of this with a grain of salt when you're discussing that. But I thought that was encouraging on the Oladejo front. We'll see what that actually means as camp progresses here. But it would be awesome for the Titans defense if he was ready to go and ready to be a contributor early in his NFL career rather than a year into it.
Yeah, I do have a general hesitation on Brian Callahan.
I would agree.
He trends positive, right? I want to overstate it. Obviously the Levis stuff last year, but a lot of other stuff. He trends positive. He tends to say good things. There were some things he said about a lot of guys last year. Again, it's not like he was making any declarations or predictions or this guy's going to have 15 sacks, whatever, but maybe made you think a little bit better of them than what actually happened on the football field. Yep. So, and he did say that in the clip. We'll see when they start playing with pads, but there are a lot of other positive indications with Oladejo. Real quick, by the way, we talked about Brian Callahan a lot last week. Have you heard the thing Ian did?
No.
Okay. Well, I think maybe every show until we get fired or I get fired and singled out and fired.
Could be we.
Yeah, it could be we. We'll see. I'll try to drag you down with me. I think until then, I think we may need to play Ian's mashup. I mean, shoot, I don't know. Do you have it ready right now, Ian? Like,
sure.
Just listen to this. Now, understand, I'll give you the backstory, Robby.
Okay.
So did you see the speech he gave?
Yeah.
So you saw the backward hat, and you've heard about that.
I've heard about the backward hat. Yes.
Okay. But in the meantime, I was sitting there like, who does his voice sound like? And then it came to me. I actually, on the air, figured it out, and I think I'm right, and now you can hear for yourself.
Because I know what we have in this room.
Did you touch my drum set?
Hey, knock it off.
I know you touched my drumstick.
Because I believe in what you guys are capable of.
You swear on your mom's life that you didn't touch it then.
The urgency every time we walk in.
I know you touched my drum set, and I want to hear that dirty little mouth admit it.
It should be urgent as We have to make each other better every day we step out.
If you touch my drums, I will stab you in the neck with a knife.
Holy crap, they sound alike.
Right?
Oh, my
Isn't that
goodness.
crazy? we should.
Wow.
I think that we should replace the Rexrode with just like the Ian mashup. And that'll be like the lead, and then we can just keep doing Ian stuff in the meantime, and just fill it with Ian's.
I mean,
mashup.
I
But
was
isn't
not
that
aware
insane?
that John C. Riley, who is the head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
It's
unbelievable.
wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's like a little bit of a. That's not how Callahan usually sounds, but he was forcing them to believe, kind of force that in there. Anyway, Oladejo.
It's good to know.
I don't know what
I
this
don't know
has
if
to
I'm
do with
going to be able to
Oladejo,
unsee that all year, unhear it. Thanks for ruining Brian Callahan's press conference for me from now on. I'll just be thinking about Step Brothers the whole time.
Well, you know what? Is the way this season might go, a little bit of comic relief might come in handy this year.
Oh man.
Not to be not optimistic. Here we are in late July.
One texter says, wasn't Brian Callahan excited about coaching Will Levis last year? Yes, he was. He was excited about coaching Will Levis.
Yeah, and look, it is easy to make fun of, but again, that's the thing about quarterback in the NFL. I don't think anything Brian Callahan thought or said about Will Levis was like coming out of the planet of Jupiter, right? I mean, it was just the traits are there, coming in the building, working hard every day. Levis is going to be. It's almost like the Tannehill thing here, where some people are just not. They've talked themselves into he was terrible. Levis will be over time like just remembered as a complete buffoon who did nothing good, who had no talent and all that stuff. Levis has talent. Levis worked hard. Levis did the right things. Just because he did a Mayo commercial, we're all going to now act like. And some people want him to be a loser. Some people actually called him a loser after he took this surgery. But it's not. I mean, he was wrong. Or he didn't do a good enough job. That's the bigger indictment of Callahan, right? Is it that you were that wrong about him, or that you were right, but you couldn't figure it out?
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
I'd almost rather you be wrong.
Right. But also he was wrong. And by the way, they didn't help him. Right.
Sure.
And I'm not taking that off Callahan's plate, but there are some things here. There's a great thing about quarterback play. I want to play at some point this week. I heard a Kevin Clark, Mina Kimes conversation. I was like, this needs to be a default conversation about how people can so badly want quarterback to just be this, solo position that dictates everything, when the fact is it's a team sport.
Well, I would also say, if you're a Titans fan, and this is not necessarily just an indictment on Brian Callahan, but it's just the way that I think if you're a Titans fan that's realistic, you should probably approach things this year. Hearing about Femi Oladejo being ahead of schedule is great, and hearing, people talk about Cam Ward and all that's great. Let's see it, right? Like let's wait till games come around and let's see it before we really just get carried away with some of this. Like I'm with you. Brian Callahan does tend to drift a little positive. And look, I don't expect an NFL head coach, 5 days into camp to get up there and just start railing against everybody on his team and being like, oh, it's been awful. Not been good. I don't expect that. I do think Callahan probably goes a little over the top at times with his praise. I'm hoping that what he's seeing, or what he says he sees from Oladejo, is right, because if it's not, we've talked about this, they're up a creek at edge rusher. They really need him to be great. I'm hoping that by the time week 1 rolls around, he has a good enough performance where you look at it and you're like, okay, I see what Callahan was talking about there.
Yeah, I don't see any way around that he's going to get opportunity. So I have to believe he'll make plays this year. He'll make some plays. The question is he going to be, can he consistently be out there on the field and like set the edge and do all the things and be solid and reliable? I mean, I have no idea. Yeah, I think that's asking a lot of a rookie, but that's the position they're putting him in. And that's the position he's in based on this edge group. So, I mean, it's just, it'll very much be a throw him in and you hope you see him get better through the year. But yeah, as for Callahan and the praise, it's like, this is why Vrabel kind of is the way he is, which is frustrating, That's why it's always like, especially last year, like, man, it's so refreshing. You got a coach here who actually will answer questions and talk about individuals. I mean, Vrabel with this stuff right now would just be like, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what. But yeah, we all our guys. All need to be better. We all need to work hard. We're all blah blah blah. He's hated so much because sometimes you can over. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you don't want to overly praise someone, raise expectations artificially, and then people get mad at that player when they don't live up to them.
Don't overpromise, underdeliver is what you're saying.
Like a texter says, criticize in private, praise in public. Yeah, to a point. But again, some people, like Vrabel, are more like, try to avoid at all costs individuals being singled out. But the reality is we ask about individuals.
Yep. Just don't repeat any questions around Vrabel. It's a dangerous game to play. So we found out last week.
Yeah, Ben Volen found that out, baby.
Whew. He did. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
So did I.
I thought of you immediately. Well, at least Ben Volen didn't do anything with his hands.
I think you sent it to us from Disney, from the teacups.
Hey, look at this. 615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll take your thoughts on Femi Oladejo and the Titans defense. Plus, another development over the weekend that I'm starting to just look at and say, this guy ever going to do anything for the Tennessee Titans? We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Check out this week's Nashville's best deal. It's Prince's Hot Chicken, Nashville's original hot chicken, bursting with heat and flavor. There's nothing better than the original. For a limited time, grab half off a $25 gift card at theGameNashville.com/deals. We will be joined by Corey Curtis coming up at 8 o'clock here on the program for his weekly visit, talking all things Tennessee Titans.
What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at you.
Well, stop making me look at. I mean, you can't put Alyssa Milano on the TV and expect me to do a show professionally. Forgot about this. The brilliance of the show Charmed.
That's
it's fantastic.
Kind of the other thing. Like, there's some of the year 2000 CGI stuff they're trying to do here is pretty impressive.
Yeah. What network was Charmed on originally? Do we know?
I don't
know.
The
WB or something.
Sounds about
they
right.
already had probably some budget limitations anyway, but they got Alyssa Milano.
They do. It made up for it, I guess. But man, some of the special effects on this program, not very good. Not very good. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. Adam in Portland says, you love somebody who can provide candor until they start losing. Then it's like this freaking clown, referring to Brian Callahan, and then throws Barry Trotz in there too.
Wow.
Everybody under attack from Adam from Portland on the text line.
Adam in Portland appropriately represents fans of the Titans and Predators who are a little bit fed up with things, which I get. Yeah, that is the thing. It's like I would never expect Brian Callahan to – it'd be very surprised if he came in and said, man, J.C. Latham is dogging it out here, and we need to – you don't see much of that anyway, right, around the league, like calling players out. But then it's like, but if you're going to always tell us all the good thing, and here's why this is positive. Here's why you should be optimistic about this guy, that guy. You do. I think the balance is either you got to be willing to at times, even if it's more collectively, say, like it's like the first day. Again, I don't know. We had D-Mace, Connor, other people. First day lacked energy, right? Yep. And so I was like, oh, what does that mean? It's the first day. How do you lack energy? Brian Callahan just says, oh, yeah, good day out there. Okay. I mean, it's just he's generally going to trend to the positive. If you do that enough in tandem with really bad results, at some point it's like, I mean, stop talking.
Let me ask you,
people don't want to hear.
Do you think that part of the reason that they have done more of these behind the scenes, all access kind of stuff is to maybe help paint him in a different light a little bit, where it's not just the Brian Callahan you see at the press conference, but like that clip you referred to earlier of him in the backwards cap and he's in there screaming and yelling and giving this fiery speech. Like we heard from some of that from Titans fans about that last year of, when you're losing your style of coaching, everything you do is wrong, right?
Absolutely.
Do you think that part of the reason that they're trying to get behind the scenes a little bit more with him is to maybe reshape some of that with the fan base?
Maybe. Do you, Ian, do we have that, by the way? He had a pretty interesting answer on that.
I'm sorry. On which one?
On the behind the scenes.
Yes, I do.
Show.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. And that's it. So the thing is, I think you're probably right about that. Also, it's not a big deal. Okay. Don't get me wrong. We've had fun with it. Whatever. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Some people are going to flip out about dumb crap, but I don't think that thing is something that helps with the Titans fans. The clip of him like forcing himself to be Newt Rockne, because it just wasn't natural, you know? And obviously like coaches who are more like, again, if we went back, if it was a different era when Bill Walsh coached, he's like, okay, guys, we're going here today and we're going to work on this. And okay, we'll see you on the practice field. Oh, bye. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Nice. But who cares? Like, he was a great coach. Like, though some of these things that aren't going to be exciting to people. Not everybody can be freaking Dan Campbell.
Well, you're right about that. They can't. So this is what Brian Callahan had to say about maybe the team going behind the scenes, more all access stuff, and his input on all that over the weekend.
The Tennessee videos the team has put out Just curious, how involved have you been in that? Has there been a particular message you wanted to get across?
They approached me earlier in the off season, and we had a conversation about just allowing access to do these things. And I think it's really good for people to see behind the curtain a bit and see the interactions our players have, our coaches have, a little bit more of an unfiltered view, if you will, so the fans can find a way to get to know our players and get to know our team and on a different level maybe than they have. So the idea was to allow people to see a little more of what we do and how we do it. And so, yeah, I'm involved in the process, but I don't edit those videos or do anything like that. I just allow them access to meeting rooms and team meetings and miking guys up and then having conversations. And they've sort of taken it and run. And I think those videos have been really well done. Our content team, I think, has really poured in a lot of energy to making something that the fans want to watch. And I think so far it's been pretty cool.
So far it's been cool.
Yeah. Give some editorial power moving forward. I heard that. And look, generally speaking, I like that kind of stuff. Like I'm a fan of the behind the scenes kind of like, here's what's going on in the meeting room stuff. I find that stuff fascinating. I think a lot of football fans do as well. But I've seen some of the stuff they put out there. I'm with them. It's been pretty good. But that was the first thought that came to my mind was, all right, are they doing some of this with Brian Callahan a little bit more featured to get him painted in a little bit different of a light with this fan base right now?
So just to catch you up on some of the discourse at this here station, and this probably isn't going to surprise you. I think still he said this on Jared versus Joe, and I'm sure he had segments on it, but he believes that like Callahan, I think, is like driving this. I think
he's like his idea,
the executive producer. Okay. He's actually the one who's pulling all the strings on this. And I guess he's like, yeah, you don't see Burks on there much. I don't know. I don't really know what he's trying to say.
9-minute run,
but I don't think that. I don't think it's that deep. But I think you're probably right that the Titans are like, yeah. I mean, who are the people that you can feature, that you can show a different side of? And again, maybe with him, it's like, okay, there are times when he's ticked off about something. There are times it's like, that rep sucked. Whereas maybe he's not going to say that at a podium, right? He's just not his nature. But maybe in the film room, there's a little more candor about stuff, or candor, not candor. Sorry. Sorry, brain emeritus is hitting me again.
We need more of the candor around here.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah. The thing for me is with this stuff, like, I used to love Hard Knocks, and I've railed about this many times, but I can't really get there anymore.
No,
I think they've sanitized it so much that it's pretty boring. And so the team produced content to me is another step of more even sanitized than what Hard Knocks does typically. But it's still interesting. There's still some little nuggets in there that are worth watching.
Who's even on Hard Knocks this year?
It's
Buffalo.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
The Bills.
Okay. All right.
We get some Haley Steinfeld. Sorry, Alyssa.
I've seen a lot of videos of Josh Allen at training camp so far. Seems like a really swell guy. Really nice for the fans out there. It's what you want.
He is he's become kind of a funny guy,
He's a really good football player and very popular with the fans out there. I've seen.
Texter says, are there ever any days where y'all are on this talk show and annoyed / pissed at one another? I said, Robbie's tried to have me killed several times.
Yeah.
But really, the key is, like, what you guys don't understand is during breaks, how much Ian screams at us,
Yeah,
and that's what you would be surprised by, right? Like, he acts all mild-mannered. Agreeable Ian.
Yeah.
According to Kaharski. But the reason Kaharski says that is because of how many times Ian's thrown him up against the wall. Can you enunciate ever?
Houston has an H, Paul. You say the H.
You're a huge idiot. Have I ever told you that?
We love Ian.
Daddy, I may now say you suck. Everyone sucks. Google Gaga. Suck, suck, suck.
That's one of the greats. One of the greats.
Byron wondering if Candor is where the Ewoks live.
Oh, God.
We go to the planet Candor.
Oh, no, they blew up Candor.
615-737-1025. Let's head to our 1025 The Game phone line. Welcome in Mark in Nashville to the program. Mark, good morning, buddy. How we doing?
Hey, what's going on, Robbie? How was your trip, man?
It was awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Robbie, you know what? I was sitting around looking at some camps this weekend, training camps, and I mean, why did the Titans, man, never have a fan day or come out and meet the guys and like the Packers. The Packers yesterday had their owners, had everybody out there, man, giving away helmets, giving away jerseys, filling all the fans and meet and greet and all that. I mean, you never get that with the Titans, man. I mean, Amy Adams Strunk, you never see her out there doing that. I know y'all talking about some things that's entirely different, but I mean, fans in Nashville don't want to hear that rah-rah stuff, man. I mean, when I give Joe his motivational speeches now, that's a different story.
That's
but,
right. Put you out there.
I have to help Joe out and stuff. But, yeah, I'm going to look out for me on that, Joe. But, I mean, I've never understood that about the Titans, man. They never do anything. I mean, right now is the time to really be doing that. I mean, you got a bad organization, a bad owner. Seems like they would sit up here and mingle with the fans and try to get close to them and get them to come into the building and buy tickets and support the team. I know there's a bad roster and stuff and whatnot, but Robbie, I got a question for you. I thought about you yesterday.
Okay.
I got a question I want you to answer for me.
Shoot.
Green Bay Packers is your squad. And I know you like Love and LaFleur and all them guys. You got Romeo Dobbs, Watson, Reed, Hicks. But Robbie, I'm gonna ask you something about Watson. And I mean, this is kind of a similar situation like it is with Burks. They drafted a wide receiver number one overall, number one in the draft this year. They drafted another one in the third round from TCU. Do you see Watson being the odd man out? Because I kind of see that, Robbie. I'm going to let you go, though, man. I want you to think about that.
No, it's interesting that you bring that up because we've actually kind of thought about that as it relates to the Titans. I mean, the Titans are going to need – we know this. This is going to be a multi-year process here with the Titans in terms of rebuilding their wide receiving core. And somebody's going to be out. I think it's going to be either Dobbs or Watson in Green Bay. So do you throw your name in the hat if you're the Titans to bring one of those two guys in?
I say absolutely.
Like they're not going to be able to keep all of them. I mean, they just drafted 2 wide receivers. It's not going to be a this year thing, but next year as you head into the offseason, I think the Titans are going to have another draft pick, a pretty high draft pick at wide receiver. And does a guy like that, either a Watson or a Dobbs, shake loose? That's still, I mean, what are those guys? 25, 26? They're still pretty young guys that you could then go get at that point.
Yeah. I mean, they're the youngest team in the NFL right now, man, at age 25. I think, Robert, it's going to be Watson more than a big Dobbs because Watson's availability has been really inconsistent the last couple of years. But Dobbs has played more consistent than he has. So I'm thinking it may be Watson this year, just like it is with Burks. That injury the other day with Burks, that killed him right there, Robbie. I really think that hurt him, man. But I just wanted to ask y'all that. Hey, Joe, I'll be hollering at you Wednesday. It's time to get I ain't going to be Newt Brockman or somebody, but I got to get you motivated, Joe, where you can go on and destroy Steelman, man. We're going to call this Destroy Steelman Week.
There we go. Mark, thank you, buddy.
I got a thought.
Right,
thanks, Mark. I got a thought on what he said about the Titans. And also, I think if he probably should motivate Caroline to, judge fairly. Really should have like a call with Caroline to motivate fair play. But I have a thought on what he said about the Titans and the fan stuff.
We will do that. We will get into L'Jarius Sneed as well coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Join 102.5 The Game at the Holiday Inn Nashville Airport this Sunday from 1 to 5 for the Dude Perfect Inspired Open House. We'll be on site giving away Dude Perfect tickets and Nashville Sounds Family 4-packs, plus games, prizes, and body armor as well. Make sure you come check that out this Sunday from 1 to 5. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. Joe, you had a thought on what Mark had to say on the Titans and the fan approach that they've got.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I think he's right very recently, but also I would say, like, when things were going well, Amy was out there a lot. And I mean, she may be out there this year some. I don't remember. Like, was she never out there last year? No, certainly she'll be out there. There's like the perch. You can watch your practice, be out there a little bit, but way more, I think, engaging with fans at times. She definitely has done that before. I just think it's like, when things are going well, you're probably going to see her more. And when things aren't going well, you're probably going to see her less. So I think that's where they are with that, or where she is with that.
I would totally agree. And I think, I mean, look, one of the things when they made their run to the AFC Championship game, it was like, wow, look, Amy Adams-Strunk out there in the parking lot tailgating with all the Titans fans. How cool is that? It's like, well, probably not doing that when you're 3-14, right? Like, the owner's not walking around tailgating with everybody.
Yeah. And you know what? If a team is in an in a conference championship game and the owner, whoever the owner may be, is out there, like if Jerry Jones out there doing keg stands, whatever it is, I think that's great. I guess it's like now, and this is probably human nature, that she's receded some. Now, a guy like Jerry Jones, doesn't matter how poor he's going to talk even more if things go poorly, But I really think it comes down to that. Like right now, it's just a bad time, and fans are very wait and see. I mean, even the conversation we've had, we got people like, I don't give a crap about this. What they think. Callahan, just play better football, win games.
I will say, going to training camp used to be much more fun. Probably like, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
10 years ago. It was much more open. You could just park across the street, walk over there, stand at the fence or stand further back and just sit there and watch. And then after the practice, they have a list of all the players who are expected to sign. People could just sign autographs. You could just line the fence and anybody could stand there and they'd walk the line and sign a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And they still have fan days. They have open fan days. They have players signing autographs, but I think it does seem like it's maybe
you have to like pre-register, cut out all this kind of stuff. Used to anybody could just walk up anytime randomly. Yeah. Bring stuff to sign, kids, whoever, So yeah, that part I would agree with. It's not as fun as it used to be. I haven't been in a long time, as a fan, obviously, but back in the day when there was a good stretch there with the Chris Johnson teams in the early teens, late 10s, where it was kind of fun.
I mean, it used to be, first off, we know when they first got here, there was such immediate success that like going to games was awesome. It was hard to get in. It's hard to get into Titans games.
Hot ticket right
away. Like I remember when they drafted Vince Young, like everybody tried to get the practice. Right. They tried to get the training camp, and it was like you're like breaking down the door to try to get into training camp.
Yeah, and they used to have practice and training camp. I remember getting an Ohio State hat signed by Eddie George and Chris Sanders when I was in high school at Vanderbilt practice. They had all those open and stuff used to go down there.
I wonder how much of like the change is just, the camera video stuff, right?
It's probably some of it.
I still remember the day when like they had an open fan practice under Malarkey. They ran some trick play, double reverse pass. Jason Wolf wrote about it. Malarkey got all mad. I'm like, dude, do you know how many people in the stands videotaped that?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they're not like agents of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but come on, man.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably part of it, right? Overall, is just the paranoia level of coaches and whatnot, and the fact that everybody can document everything now.
Nick Suss from the Tennessean, Joe, caught up with L'Jarius Sneed over the weekend. Now, judging by the piece that Nick Suss put out there at the Tennessean, it does not sound like it was a very extensive conversation with L'Jarius Sneed, because there's very little quoting that's involved here. But one of the things he brought up, obviously he started the season on PUP here. And Snead apparently told Suss that he's getting closer to returning to practice. But this is what Suss says, quote, but when asked if he thought he might be back on the field next week, he hedged, saying he's not sure about that, and he's trying to take the long game, is what L'Jarius Snead apparently told Nick Suss. Is he going to play?
I'll see you in 2027.
Yeah, is he going to play this year for the Titans? How many snaps is L'Jarius Snead taking this year for the Titans? We heard all offseason about the quad, and apparently now the quad's healed, and he had a knee procedure in the offseason to get that cleaned up. Is he going to play? What are we doing? Can we get to a point where we can get him on the field?
Well, that's the thing. It's like 2023 wasn't on the practice field either. So, yeah, I mean, I think he'll play. I think that the season opener, I think L'Jarius Snead will play. I think he'll start in the season opener. Now, after that, will he make it through the whole game? Will he be playing a month from then, 2 weeks from then, 6 weeks from then? I mean, I'm not optimistic about like a huge number of snaps because I'm just assuming that the knee/knees will eventually bubble up again and give him an issue. But I'll be pretty surprised actually if he doesn't line up at Denver in the season opener. So get ready. I
will not be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
It's not the craziest thing in the world.
But I will not be. I mean, at some point you got to be able to get out on the field and practice. I understand that he did not practice very much in Kansas City.
He doesn't.
But don't you have to practice some? You haven't played a whole lot of football in the last year and a half either. Don't you have to practice some out there?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's like this. It's like you have X number of reps you can do on the knee in the rest of your career. So don't do any of them in practice. I mean, right? Like that's kind of how they've approached it, which is not great. Which is why, making that trade would not be an example of cooking.
It would not
at this point.
Suss also put in the piece at the Tennessean, when asked about the knee procedure, Snead said it was, quote, a team decision and did not comment further. So a team decision for him to have the knee clean up.
So he just wanted to screw it, man.
I guess
I'm fine.
I guess so.
Take out my ACL. Look at Spears. He's running out there. I don't know.
I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse.
That's a weird answer.
Yeah.
That's a weird answer.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll have the Rob rant coming up next. Corey Curtis from News 2 at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
You don't have to practice today. Why are you working so hard? Or get over there in the shade. No need to attack with enthusiasm unknown to mankind today.
Excited to watch Hani Mokhtar and Roman Josie and
We some dogs. We ain't no puppies.
No, I ain't think they, man, how I think I sound is regular to where I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, I know that. The rain man cold.
Philip Foosball and Cam Wired play this year.
Wired. My ears are doing like this psychedelic thing right now. This is so weird.
The cheese and bowl chose us.
It is that time of the day. Time for the Rob Rant. And let me tell you, I got a few this week to roll through.
Good.
Maybe a light week
Let's
for you
have
on the
a-
Rex Rant.
I'm here for it. Let's
See how it
go
goes.
Rob Rant all week.
I got a few things that are making me mad this week. I'm going to start today. I got some airline rants to get through later this week.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to save that for later. I'm going to start today on this whole Boo Carter stuff at Tennessee. So, Boo Carter, there's this whole weird thing. You guys may have touched on this last week on the show. There's this whole weird thing going on with Boo Carter right now. And apparently, if you kind of read between the lines, some of the reporting on it, he has not shown up to some things. And the teammates in the leadership group at Tennessee have had enough of it. And apparently there have been some conversations between Boo Carter and some of those guys. And now all of all Twitter's like watching Boo Carter's mom's Facebook for status updates on all this other stuff. And she said the other day that she was buying some outfits for games this year. So it makes Tennessee fans feel like, hey, he's going to play.
Did she say they were going to be orange?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, that's
I don't think
the
so. I don't
detail.
know. I don't know. So it's a lot of drama with Boo Carter right now. Obviously, he's a really good player, and he has got a chance to be a contributor on not only defensively, but maybe a little bit offensively, that side of the ball for Tennessee this year. So you've got the Nico stuff in the backdrop of all this, right, of what happened in the spring, and he got in front of a microphone last week and started talking about how, never about the money. It's always just about being closer to family out there going back to UCLA. So you had all that stuff, and you were the story of the offseason in college football with Nico in the spring. And now you've got all this drama, apparently, with Boo Carter heading into all this. And I'm not going to sit here and look at Josh Heupel and just blame him for all this. But I do think if you're Josh Heupel and the Tennessee football program, you probably need to do a little bit of introspection here and wonder, okay, why are these things happening to us and not necessarily happening all around college sports to all these other teams in the SEC? Like, Georgia's quarterback, they're not sitting there having a problem in the spring with them leaving, right? Like Gunnar Stockton came in, he played well in the playoff last year. We knew that was it for Carson Beck. He was going to be the guy. Like, why are you having these issues with your supposed leaders, Nico Iamaleava and Boo Carter? And what can you do to mitigate some of this if you're Josh Heupel and this program? Because look, the Nico thing's bad enough. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe they'll end up better for it. I have no idea. If Boo Carter is either going through the motions this year, or he's not playing for you this year, or he's just going to put in his year and leave at the end of the year, that's not good. Like, you got to get to the bottom of some of this if you're Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a totally fair thing to bring up, like the big picture of the program, like what is happening here? Some of your biggest recruits, and you have these weird situations. Is it possible that it's bad luck? Is it possible that you've just, one of them, obviously, we know with Nico, I mean, I think whether it's asking for more money or asking, I think it's a combination probably. And actually it's fair for them to ask for, like, hey, can we get a little better pass protection? Like that stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I would have done that too if I was Nico's dad. But the Boo Carter thing is like, we talked about this last week. It's like, okay, so if there are red flags, and some people say you should have had some red flags with some of the stuff he's involved in, all this stuff. Is it enough to not recruit the kid? He's awfully talented.
He is.
It's like you talk about culture, but you focus strictly or primarily on culture, and then will you have enough talent? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Everybody wants the perfect recruit in everybody, but sometimes you have to take some risks,
I agree. I just, I said this after the Nico thing. All Tennessee fans were gung ho about Josh Heupel after that, right? Good. This is our coach, and he's standing up to the system, and he is making sure that nobody's pushing Tennessee around. Nobody's bigger than the power team. And that's great when you're winning. But when you continue, when these things keep happening and it ends up affecting you on the field, at some point, Tennessee fans are going to say, all right, well, why do you keep bringing guys in here that keep doing this? Why can't you why can't you retain your players? Why can't you bring guys in that don't cause problems off the field? What's going on here? So, again, we'll see what happens with Boo Carter. He may walk out there against Syracuse and have, 15 tackles and the pick six, and nobody ever talks about it again. I have no idea.
Well, this is a huge week about is he going to be there?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening on that front, but it's something I've got my eye on of if in one offseason you lose your quarterback and then you got all this drama with one of your best defensive players heading into the year, I think it should at least throw up a yellow flag if you're Heupel of all right, what's going on here and how do we change this?
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's funny because Georgia, obviously, if you really want to dig in on off-field trouble, it continues to happen at an incredibly high rate.
They just need to have an Uber program at Georgia. Yeah, but nobody drives.
But you win enough, and it just becomes other people take shots at you and joke. But your fan base is okay. Now I also wonder, I wonder if Gunnar Stockton's going to be as good as Carson Beck. I think that's an interesting thing too.
We'll see.
The Texas says, I hear what you're saying, but Boo went 4 high schools in 4 years. Now we're shocked he's potentially looking to leave. I think that's the point. Is was that enough of a red flag? Keith says teams that recruit Boo Carter win games. Teams that don't win championships of life.
There you go.
No, he is so important because he's probably the most talented defensive player. And it kind of seems like he almost has to help him some on offense. Definitely he's a great return guy. He could be an electric difference-making player, and you're dealing with this crap. And you got team leaders, whatever, obviously unhappy with him. He's missing stuff.
The best part of all this was apparently so his agent, who is Isaac Connor, or at least it was his agent, apparently texted with CBS Sports. And the text message that CBS Sports put out there that they got back was, quote, I did represent Boo. However, I'm not sure I still do. He's been non-responsive, and so is his mother. They posted something about Omar Cooper representing him and advising him now. So apparently, on top of all this, I guess he switched agents and then never told his agent that he was going with somebody else.
See, and this, and then the whole not showing up or whatever, and they're trying to. Can you have any sort of courage or consideration? Just call someone, text them. Yeah,
I'm going with somebody else, man.
That's weird.
The whole thing's weird.
And his mom's post, I'm like, man, what the hell is happening here with this stuff?
I don't know. It's been a whole lot of drama on the Tennessee football front this offseason.
Well, and then it's at different situations, but they have had a lot of guys leave. They've probably lost more in the portal than they've gained. And I think some of that is Heupel. He does believe in developing guys over time and all that stuff. Is it? At one point we talked about Tennessee they are as resourced as anybody, but is that part of this too? I don't know. Have they fallen behind a little bit in terms of compensating people, in terms of the Spire Sports Collective and all that? That's one of those things. It's we don't have any way of tracking that. But when I see something overall the last couple of years, I do wonder if they've lost a little momentum there.
It's a really good question. And on top of that, this is the youngest roster that they've had at Tennessee since Heupel's been there. And it's also just strictly by the numbers. It's the most talented. That blue chip ratio we talk about all the time. Well, Corey, if you follow that, they got enough blue chip players to win a national championship.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Which is good. And that's the thing. This is what they're going to need. They're going to need some of these guys. Everybody focuses now on the proven guys, get out of the portal and stuff, but they do have talent waiting, and that's good. That's what you want to have. It's just that when you have some of your players at the very top of your roster and this stuff goes on, then it can undermine the whole thing.
I guess we're going to be on Boo Carter watch, see if he shows up to fall camp.
I don't know if Heupel's presser tomorrow or Wednesday. It's coming up, and that'll be Question 1, Adam Sparks.
Josh, is Boo Carter here?
Coach Apple.
We'll have Corey Curtis from News 2 coming up next. We'll get into all things Tennessee Titans with him, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. And we head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by Wilson County.
Got some technical difficulties. One second.
We're going to get Corey Curtis back on the line. Got some technical difficulties to get through. We will get Corey back on the program.
What
I'm sure the people
Caleb
Jackson,
Williams just throw a TD pass in camp or something?
Did he get
dancing around the living room?
From Jacksonville finally catch up to Corey?
Yeah, or that.
Yeah. Duval.
Man.
Most hated media member in Duval, Corey Curtis.
Is there like a Jacksonville Jaguars fan message board where they talk about Corey Curtis?
I feel like if there's not, there will be soon.
Message Board Geniuses is a great Twitter account, but it's all college football fans. Where there's more there. There's way more fodder there, right? But I'd like to see an NFL version.
I would too.
And I wonder if like there's like pictures of like big dartboard of Corey Curtis's face on him.
This guy, he hates us.
Yeah.
He hates all things Jacksonville.
It's amazing. What happened? Like when did Jacksonville hurt him?
I don't know. I love it though. I think it's hilarious. And again, I've said, and we're going to go through here in a couple weeks. We're going to give our official Tennessee Titans 2025 Robby and Rexrode predictions. But I'm standing by it. They better beat Jacksonville twice this year. You cannot lose this goon squad they've put out there with Gladstone leading the way as general manager and that goofy Liam Cohen as head coach. Can't do it. Don't lose a single time to him.
Is that the only expectation? Like
that may be my only expectation.
There's no win total. Cam Ward, it's just don't lose to Jacksonville.
Do not lose to Jacksonville. If you can accomplish that, I'm not going to say I'm great with everything else, but I'll at least I'll be okay.
That gives you big points.
Yeah.
Big bonus points.
Exactly. Now, whether or not they can do that. I mean, there's some people that actually think Jacksonville is going to be pretty good this year.
I could buy it. I think they'll be better than the Titans.
I think we had Frank Schwab on a few weeks ago, and he thinks that like Jacksonville might make the playoffs.
Look, Liam. I mean, it's all about Liam Cohen, right? I mean, you get into the, we had me O'Brien was a really good guest we had a couple weeks ago, right? 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or was that a month ago? I don't know. The time flies.
I think it was about a month ago now. Yeah,
I guess it was. But the whole what he did with the run game in Tampa Bay, what they haven't done with it in Jacksonville, what they're going to do now. How much does that help Trevor Lawrence? I'm here. I'm interested.
Travis Hunter's who they've been hunting up.
That he is.
I'm really interested to see how that goes this year.
Great practice, Travis.
Nice job out there, buddy. Good stuff. We mentioned Traylon Burks earlier in the show. We're going to get into that and more with Corey Curtis, who we now welcome into the program on our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Corey, good morning. How are you?
I am delightful. How are you today?
Doing awesome.
How was the Magic Kingdom?
Magic Kingdom was great. We're deep into the Frozen part of this now. So Frozen, previously undiscovered before this trip. Now it's all that's on our TV at the house.
I know you know this well, Corey.
Yeah, I experienced the Frozen phenomenon, the Land Before Time phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
There are many phenomenons to come your way.
Real quick, I threw this out at Robby because Frozen, which is very good, but obviously can get a little repetitive. I threw out Tangled as a curveball if you need to try to get away from Frozen a little bit. What do you think? What do you think about that advice?
Look, it was on last night.
Wow.
Yeah. So, look, there are a million Disney opportunities. The one I will always advocate is Moana.
Okay. I have seen that. It's
Moana's
good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I like Tangled better, but whatever.
It's got does Tangled have the rock in it?
I don't think so.
No, and I know that you love the song "You're Welcome" from Moana. I know you're a big Moana guy.
Oh, very good. Corey, how big a deal is it in your mind that Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley seem to be developing a connection this early into camp?
Well, it's important. I mean, what did we talk about last camp? That Will and Calvin couldn't get on the same page. It was a problem, and he's unquestionably their best receiver, and so they need to be on the same page. and also Calvin makes $24 million a year. They need to be on the same page. But look, he needs to be on page with all of them. But it's hard for Calvin to lead the room if he's not getting the production. And so I think for a number of reasons that works. I also think for a team that needs good news, that needs a jolt of confidence, that needs something to believe in, I think that's important as well.
Anything else here early, Corey, that is piquing your interest? Is this, are you already in the camp dog days or anything? We've talked a little bit about Oladejo. Some positive signs there. L'Jarius Sneed, some not positive signs there. What's striking you right now?
I'm looking forward to seeing more with the pads on because you can get a little bit better gauge of things. Also, I know Saturday was the first time they really kind of opened up the offense. So, we'll start to see a little bit more. But, one guy, an athlete that I like right now is Kevin Winston. He stands out to me. He looks the part. He's made several aggressive plays to this point. So I'm kind of excited to see what he can do, with the football team. And then, of course, excited to see once the pads come on, how does the line handle things? Does Jalen Harrell have another year where he looks like he's going to lead the league in sacks in training camp?
Yeah, that's a good question. On the Treylon Burks front, I mean, obviously, I said this earlier in the show, Corey. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. I mean, he just cannot stay healthy. Some people around the league, when he got hurt the other day, were acting like the Titans lost their number 2 receiver. And I just don't think they're paying very much attention to what's going on around here. But, I got to wonder, like for Burks specifically, what's next here? I doubt very seriously he takes another snap for the Tennessee Titans. He is a former first-round pick, so maybe he gets a shot somewhere else. But do you think we could have seen the last of Treylon Burks taking a snap in an NFL football game?
Sure. I mean, look, if he wants to keep playing, somebody will invite him to camp, to see if they can. Because what do NFL coaches always think? Well, I'll get it out of them. They didn't know what they were doing there. Somebody will always go back to what the talent is. It doesn't cost a lot to take a shot on a guy. But like you said, for Treylon, he's got 53 catches in 3 years. He got 1 touchdown in 3 years. And, the injuries, of course, are a big part of it. And, of course, you feel bad for the guy. He's obviously worked hard. He doesn't want any of this to happen. I mean, it's unfortunate some guys' bodies scream at them, don't play football. This is not going well because it's been, a knee, a toe, collarbone, concussions. I mean, it hasn't been one thing. It's been one thing after another. But yeah, I mean, but the other thing is what I would call the loss of confidence. I'm sure he would say he hasn't lost confidence, but his lack of production when healthy has said to me that he's lost confidence, and you'd have to understand why. I mean, with everything that's gone wrong for him. I mean, I don't know how the guy gets healthy from this and he's like, okay, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do it again. I mean, I remember with Kyle Phillips, it was the same way. I'm like, how do you not just get depressed about this?
Yeah, how do you have confidence that your body next time you lay out for a throw that your body won't break somewhere, right? Pretty brutal.
Remember, he hurt himself in Minnesota last year.
Two years ago, right?
Was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Laying out and making a great catch.
Right.
And it's just like, wow. What are you going to do?
Corey, in your distinguished career of coaching youth soccer, have you ever really gotten after it and turned that hat around backwards and really lay into the kids? Does that give you a little extra juice?
I'm loud. I was loud out there, but I was very positive. So They never got yelled at. They got yelled for.
Oh, good.
They got yelled for.
What were did you guys do like snacks, like different play, or did you provide them every game? And what were they?
The parents were very good about signing up for snack.
Good.
But if no one signed up, someone else had to deliver. Capri Sun was always easy. And then, the variety of accoutrement that you could pick up at the grocery store, the small bags of chips, the Pringles, the Little Debbie's.
Wow.
Which
that's kind of old school. You're not
talking.
Chips and Little Debbie's. That's like from the 80s. You're not doing like healthy granola stuff.
Well, I mean, I could, but that doesn't taste very good.
That's a fair point.
Also, children with great metabolism. Yeah, so let them eat while they can.
That is true. Good point.
So Corey's
I'm
a better.
Giving the kids like Mountain Dew and
got to bring back the Squeeze-Its.
Yeah, yeah. So are you trying to say Corey
Jolt Cola,
a little bit better prepared than backwards hat Brian Callahan in the video? Is that what you're getting at here, Joe?
Well, I guess I do want Corey's thoughts on does that bother you?
No, I mean, look, you know what bothers me? Not having good players. That's what bothers me. Okay, not having good players bothers me. Not having a plan bothers me. Not knowing the rules bothers me. Not understanding who your personnel is, that bothers me. Now, look, there is a question to this. All right. I think there's an authenticity in leadership. All right. You've got to be real and you've got to be yourself. If you're trying to fake something, players aren't going to buy it. Everybody can see through, like Brian Kelly's accent at LSU. That nobody was buying that. All right. That's not effective leadership. Okay. And so the question is that authentic, Brian Callahan, because, that's the case. But whether a guy wears his hat forward, backwards, or sideways, or wears sunglasses or doesn't wear sunglasses, or wears a hoodie or doesn't wear a hoodie, I don't care. All right. If it's him and that's the way he leads and it's authentic, then that's fine. If you think he's faking it, then that could be a problem.
Did you take that as authentic from Brian Callahan?
I think he was trying to set a tone. I don't know. I haven't been in enough of his meetings to say, one way or another. I think he's got a lot of energy and a lot of belief towards his football team. So from that aspect, I find it believable. But he wears a hat all the time. Yeah, he's a younger guy, so he could wear his hat backwards. Yes, wear my hat backwards from time to time.
Nice, very nice to know.
Same. I keep forgetting to bring it in.
I'd like to see it. I would.
This
Corey,
week.
Great stuff, brother. Appreciate you taking time to be with us today, and we will talk to you next week.
And a great man once said, "You're welcome."
Yes, very nicely done. Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic, joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. We'll react to what Corey had to say coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Tune in for player interviews and the latest updates on the Titans training camp as the team preps for the 2025 season. Coverage of Titans training camp presented by Mazzaro, 12 South, and Parman Energy Group. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Appreciate Corey Curtis from News 2 for being with us in the last segment. The Traylon Burks part of this, he suffers the collarbone injury on Saturday in the open practice at Nissan Stadium, and he's going to be out for at least the first part of the season. I said it earlier, Joe, legitimately, I feel really bad for him. I mean, the guy can't walk on the football field really without getting hurt over the course of the last few years. So we went through the stats earlier. You're talking about 3 years at this point for Traylon Burks, this being year 4 that he's headed into, and he's had 53 catches in his career. 53 catches, 699 yards, and a touchdown. That's going to be where his numbers as a Titan end up, and that's going to be where he finishes. Some of the reaction I saw on Saturday, and I will say more of it was probably nationally than it was here locally, but I did see some locally of Titans fans that are just like, man, Traylon Burks, there goes a big year from him. And it's like, guys, I don't know that Traylon Burks was making the team pre-injury. I don't think he was. Like, I think he was going to have just an unbelievable training camp. And, I mean, just forcing you to keep him on the roster. And he's making your head turn every day out there with plays that he was making. And, frankly, I don't think he's going to do that. So, I don't think Traylon Burks was going to be on this team. I don't think his injury, even though I do feel really bad for him, I don't think his injury changes the equation for the Titans this year at all when it comes to their wide receiver group. And I feel bad for him. I'm interested to see where his career goes from here and whether or not he gets another shot somewhere else. But I think you can probably officially close the door on Traylon Burks and the Tennessee Titans after Saturday.
Yeah, my strongest reaction is just like, God, it sucks for the kid. Yeah, because he is trying. He has tried. He hasn't been good enough. He hasn't been healthy at all. He, I think, admittedly did not come in, in the best shape and all that stuff. And so that's a huge mistake on his part. But I think since then he's done like the things to try to get better and try to get on the field. And he's made a few plays. You've seen some of the talent. You see why he's a first-round pick. He has the size and speed and all that stuff, but his body won't cooperate. So that's my main takeaway is it just sucks for him. And I understand like the bringing back up the AJ Brown trade when it's like, okay, this is probably it. Yeah, I get that. You can be mad about that all over again. But yeah, if you were a Titans fan who actually thought he was any sort of a factor, even if he made the team at the tail end of the room, it's hard for me to get there. Again, I don't know how good Van Jefferson is going to be, but right now I think he's a 1, along with Lockett and Ridley. You have the two fourth rounders.
Just to clarify, you mean a 1 as a starter, not a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, 1 with the ones. with the ones offense. And then you have Bryce Oliver, who I think special teams is going to help him make the team. And I think you have the 2 fourth rounders. And then is it, if Van Jefferson does have that much gas in the tank, I don't think there's any way.
Oh yeah. Like
even if this never happened.
No, yeah. Again, I think he would have had to be like almost their best receiver in camp. I really do. Because there's just so much body of work at this point and so much evidence that the production just doesn't translate to game day.
And so much
right?
risk.
There's so much risk. Like I just think he would have had to have had an amazing camp. I think to have hung around. And look, they've told you, right? Like they've just drafted two wide receivers in the 4th round. They brought in Tyler Lockett. Like they have moved on from Traylon Burks before this happened on Saturday. And if they had gotten anything from him in camp, it would have been gravy. And if he would have just came on and burst on the scene and all of a sudden it's like, wow, well, we got to put Traylon Burks on the field. Well, then that would have been great for them. But I think in their minds, they've already moved on from him. And now this is just kind of the latest cementing of that would be the way that I would put it.
Yeah. Yeah. So not a big deal. Not a big deal in terms of the construction of this team. Another reminder of just how horrific that move was. And it was unfair to Traylon Burks from the start. I mean, again, he's saying it's unfair to draft someone in the 1st round. But, like, trade A.J. Brown and say, okay, you're the next A.J. Brown. Let's go. come on in here. Let's see how you do. Again, he didn't handle it well, but the biggest thing about all this is like his body will not stay healthy. It won't, and I just can't imagine it. I think the last snap in an NFL is possible at this point.
Well, if you're him too, like, he's had the ACL last year, so you come all the way back from that, and you get to the point where you can be back out there on the field, and then 4 days into camp, you're talking about breaking a collarbone. Like, does he get to a point personally where he's like, beyond the opportunity that's out there from him, which I don't think will be a ton, right? Like, he's going to get released from the Titans at some point here, and maybe he gets invited to a camp next year, or maybe somebody picks him up on a practice squad or something. But the opportunities are not going to, like, people aren't going to be breaking down the door to go get Traylon Burks. So does he look at it and say, you know what? My body's been through enough. Let's call it a career at this point. I have no idea. I'm just speculating. But with the way things have gone for him at this point, I can't discount that possibility.
Yeah, can't discount it. It's also, it's like, guy, you worked so hard on the ACL rehab, right?
Yep.
And you're like, and that feels great. So, I mean, if I were in his shoes, I'd probably try to squeeze as much out of football for having to join the real world as I could. But yeah, he's going to find,
he's been through a lot.
It's going to be tough, and it's going to be tough sledding in terms of interest. And yeah, the pay is going to go way down for that rookie deal.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. A lot of your thoughts to get to on the Titans. We will do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-1063 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. The Tennessee Titans making some news over the weekend. Matter of fact, Joe, I've seen it on ESPN today as we've been doing our show.
Yeah.
Cam Ward slinging the ball all over the field. They showed that nice pass he had, kind of dropping it in the bucket to Tyler Lockett in between defenders. We talked earlier about him rolling out to the left and escaping pressure on a play where he may or may not have been sacked, and then throwing it back across the field and hitting Calvin Ridley over the shoulder. Cam Ward making some nice plays on Saturday, and now it's got the NFL buzz going out there a little bit. We got this question from Dylan on the text line. It says, this may be a dumb question, but do you think there's any significance of Ian Rappaport being at Titans practice? Like, does the NFL actually seem excited for Cam Ward, or does it feel like he simply has to be covered just because he's the number one pick?
Rappaport, I'm quite sure, comes through every year. Rappaport, one of those guys, I think he hits pretty close to all of them. So,
I believe that is correct.
No, there's no significance there. Now, is there growing buzz? I guess there are some others. Well, our buddy Charles Robinson, he picks a certain number, and he has come through here before when the Titans were really good. Actually, I think, didn't he come like 2 years ago? And he was like, you know what? They might be pretty good.
He came last year, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing. But another thing with him and some of these guys is when they go, sometimes it's because I think the reason he came here last year is because there's the building changes. So you need to sit down with people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So some of it is that when a building changes, you need to have FaceTime with people. So you had some nice FaceTime with Rand. That worked out well.
Did.
But, Rand's out there analyzing stuff for CBS. So I'm still, good to know. Good to know Rand. See what's going on with Rand. But, I think, there's going to be there will be a certain amount of buzz because of Cam Ward that will automatically generate, even with all the lack of attention that he got at the beginning and things like that. So if he does anything in the preseason, if he goes in a preseason game, makes a ridiculous throw, that'll get a lot of attention. Once we get to the season, and plus, we definitely have this. It's like in college football, the whole thing, everybody, including me, is writing a story this year. Who is the next Indiana? Because of what they did last year. Well, in the NFL, it's who is the next Stroud Texans / Daniels Commanders, and the Titans are obviously one of the prime contenders. What other rookies are starting this year?
That quarterback, I don't know if any of them are.
Because obviously Shedeur, I saw that Kenny Pickett's hurt with a hammy, so Shedeur moves up the pecking order, but he's not going to start. Is Cam the only rookie who's going to start?
I think so.
Will start on week 1. Yeah.
I think so.
So that alone, first of all, I think that's really interesting. I'd like to know the last time you only had one rookie starting in week 1. Are we sure? Yeah, because Dart's not going to start. They've already named Russ, the guy there. I don't even know who else we have as
Dylan Gabriel
possibilities. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, you got Dylan and you got Shedeur up there in Cleveland. What about New Orleans?
Tyler
Shuck. He might.
Could Shuck? I guess he could possibly be the second guy, right? You could kind of look at it in a way with the Vikings. You could look at it like a rookie starting because J.J. McCarthy lost all last year, but technically he's not a rookie.
God, that Saints quarterback room is just atrocious.
Oh, it's a beaut. But I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that alone means, for better or for worse, Titans fans, that your team's going to get. There's going to be some built-in buzz and attention and interest in what Cam Ward does. So I don't know if that excites you or not. Yeah, people are throwing up Shuck in New Orleans. Yeah, for sure. So
we'll see. It's either him or Rattler.
Yeah, God, yeah, it probably is going to be Shuck, isn't it? Jeez, man. Caleb says, you guys expect Ward to play in every preseason game. That third one, who knows, man. The third, it's so weird too, because the third preseason game now is more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before you have such a big dead period in the NFL now. I don't know how you address that. What I wish they'd do is I wish they'd move the season up. I know college football wouldn't like that because they like to have 2, like a little week 0, and then a week 1 that's all theirs. But man, it's just all this time to sit around. The practices don't matter anymore. No one cares about the practices. The games are over. The third game is worthless. So, like, we're going to be from August, 15th until the opener, basically like, twiddling our thumbs.
If I had to predict, I'd say he'd play the first 2. He played in the first 2 preseason games and probably not an overly significant amount. And then game 3 doesn't play, would be my guess.
See, I would like to see, because it used to be, obviously, and a lot of things have changed with preseason games, but it used to be the dress rehearsal game was the third one, and then the fourth one was this. Well, since they got rid of the fourth one, why don't they just make this the dress rehearsal game? And then you have this long period of time. You know what I mean?
I agree. I just don't think you're going to see it. Like they have basically treated the third preseason game now as like
it's just roster.
Like it's just totally. How many guys on the that next Monday or whatever it is are we just going to send packing?
Yeah.
Get them out there and play.
Who do we still not know about for sure? Who do we need to see? Everybody else don't freaking get hurt. It's just get it to 2. But then I guess the second one becomes that.
Probably.
Then you get it to 1. Is it just, like if you get it to 1 preseason game, would that be worth watching?
I mean, look, we talk about the preseason every year, and it's like we make a big deal about whether they're playing or not playing. I probably would like to see Cam Ward get a couple series in each of those first 2.
Yeah, I'd like to see him play a half.
I mean, I'd like to see that. I know that's not going to happen, so I'm not going to set my bar there of like go play a half. But I would like to see the Titans throw him out there for a few series, obviously with the starting offensive line. If you're going to play your starting quarterback, you need to play your starting offensive line in the preseason. But just let him go through some game reps. I know it's not a game plan, and I know it's not, full, but there is something to be said for like knowing that you can actually be hit.
Yeah.
There's something different about that than just being at practice.
No doubt about it. And to me, this is very, like, I remember we had some, arguments with listeners like during the Tannehill era about like Vrabel was very cautious. And to me, it was like, I know Tannehill's good and this team is good. So I'm not messing with it. If your quarterback's good, your team's good. Hell no.
Yeah.
But this team, we expect to win 4 or 5 games. We don't know if Cam Ward's good. Obviously you don't want to expose him to too much, want to get him hurt, but if you got him hurt, I mean, you're not throwing away a great season.
Right.
Well, so, I mean, to me, the reward is higher because you need those reps, and the risk is lower because, like, the season is a wash already. I'm sorry.
Well, and you want him, like, I remember who was the first preseason game last year? San Francisco? Is that the first one they played? And I think it was the first drive. Like, Will Levis took off up the middle and, like, lowered his shoulder and tried to run somebody over at the goal line. It's like, oh, my God, man.
That's right.
What are you doing?
Oh my gosh!
Get out!
About that.
Like, I don't think you're gonna have that problem with Cam Ward. Like, that would be where I'd put him if I was Callahan. Like, if you walk out there and you lower your shoulder in a preseason game to try to get 1 extra yard, I'm pulling you out of the game, and you're not playing the rest of the preseason.
Yeah, that does show a little bit.
It appears Caleb Williams was the first number 1 overall pick quarterback to win the season opener as a rookie since David Carr did it in the Texans in 2002.
Is that right? Wow.
That's very
number
very
1
interesting.
Picks are 0, 8, and 1 in week 1 since then. Maybe 1, 8, and 1 because this would have been plus Caleb Williams.
Good job.
But, yeah.
Good job, David. And here comes 72 more sacks for the rest of the year for you. Thank you. Someone says, good job. I didn't even think about this. Risk versus reward. Possibly risk/reward.
That's good candor from you.
Wes in Clarksville says the offensive line's the one that needs to play a half every. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Get yourself. Some of these teams are not going to do it. They're going to rest guys. They're going to be careful with guys. Give yourself an edge and play a lot of football with these guys and try to get timing down.
Yeah.
Do it. I'm with you.
I don't know if it's going to be a half because I do think there reaches a point where with your starters, you have to say, all right, they've gotten some work in here. Do they really need to go the whole half? Like I do think that, but I've said it, Kowarski's throwing it out there too. Like the idea of Well, just wait for this offensive line to gel. By the time week 6 rolls around, they should be good. Like, no, let's go. You got a new franchise quarterback. Get your offensive line ready to play.
Yeah, if you're throwing them out there, then you should maximize whatever you can do to make it as safe as possible for them. Santa in Portland does bring up a good point. It's the only preseason game at home. Don't you think they have to play Cam one series? I would agree. But the thing is it going to be like the Vrabel played Tannehill that one series? He handed off 3 times, right? In that one, I played him.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like that? I mean, I almost feel like fans will be more upset with that. I mean, I guess if you play him with a series and at least let him throw a pass, yes. Look, I'm for playing him some in that game too. So maybe I wonder if there's any – I mean, you can't make decisions for your football team or your healthier football team on fans. But at the same time, that is the one time they get to see the team for the season.
Yeah. 615-737-1025, our phone number. By the way, the Caleb Williams stat. One texter says, doesn't Will Levis get credit for that Bears victory? Not Caleb Williams.
Fair point.
Turn around, somersault the ball over your head. A lot more of your thoughts to get to on the Titans. We'll do that next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. I got some tickets to give away. A pair of tickets to see Volbeat and Hailstorm at First Bank Amphitheater on Saturday, August the 2nd. That is this Saturday. Be caller 5-615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Rexrode, will you be out there for that show?
No, and I wasn't out there. You missed this for Coldplay.
Yep.
The day of, we were waiting, and because usually prices go down.
Yeah.
Top level of stadium, a few hours before, maybe 3 hours before the show, it was like top level of stadium, 2 tickets a piece were like $650.
Yeah. Well,
I will say, I have heard from a source. I asked, remember, Ian, I said, anybody who went to the Coldplay show?
We didn't really hear much from anybody.
Nobody. No one responded, which actually kind of shocked me, but I did hear from someone I trust who said it was the best show she's ever seen. Someone who's been to many, many concerts.
Well,
So, I mean, it had to have been a freaking amazing show.
Unfortunately for you, there were some events that happened right in the lead up to the Coldplay concert at another Coldplay concert that may have affected that price. People didn't want to give it up. You never know what you might see at a Coldplay concert.
Yeah, it's funny because I had a conversation this weekend about that. Like, so this because of the that was an amazing thing, by the way. The astronomer thing. But they were already bad. I mean,
they were already
insane.
Bad. But I'm just saying, like, maybe people are less willing to get rid of them.
Yeah, maybe
at that point.
Just in case. You never know.
What you might.
By the way,
happen.
Did you see what astronomer did? Did you see the video they put out this week?
No, I didn't.
Gwyneth Paltrow. It's really good. Check it out.
Okay.
Who, of course, used to be married to Chris Martin. She had an ad for astronomer. It's good.
Good.
Everybody,
Okay.
I invite you to check it out. It's awesome.
I'll have to see that.
If you're an astronomer, you're damn right you're taking advantage of this.
Yeah.
CEO of Astronomer, huh? We all know Astronomer's name now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Got a YouTube comment that says Joe's a big 5-finger death punch and Volbeat fan. Who knew? You big 5-finger death punch guy?
Nah, no, I'm not gonna judge them. I don't really know. I'm familiar with 5-finger death punch. I can't say that I know their music.
I've heard some of their songs. Bad Company that they remade is nice, I'm sure. That's about it. That's all I know.
They remade a Bad Company song?
Yeah.
What song?
No, it's they remade the song Bad Company.
Bad Company.
Yeah.
Till the day I die.
Correct.
Yeah.
That one.
Why?
I don't know.
That song sucks.
So now we know Joe is not a fan of the 5-finger death punch.
Well, Bad Company is one of those, like, they really weren't that good, guys. But Robby thinks they're better than the Beatles.
Probably, yeah. Chances pretty high.
Okay.
Pretty
someone. Okay, here we go. Coldplay concert was great. Hard to say that it's worth the high prices, but one of the best shows I've been to. Okay.
All right.
At least I was like, did they just have like AI robots? Like that robot that's running in China? Was all the people filling the seats? Do we have real people who went? That's good to hear from a human who went.
By the way, it's always this time of year, like you keep your eye out on the rest of the league for injuries. Like Justin Fields got hurt the other day and it looked bad. Like he had to get carted off the field. And now he's back out there practicing today. He's doing 11 on 11.
Man.
So
that actually was one of those very rare things that happened on the show.
Yeah.
And it sounded really bad.
Sounded bad. Yeah.
So it's great to see that. That's really good to see. This brought up a question. Someone criticized, I don't remember who it was, NFL beat writers. You should not say, it was Nick Wright. You should not say carted off. You should say rode a cart into a locker room.
What difference does it make?
I mean, Kaharski agreed with this. It's like carted off sounds terrible. And if it's like took a ride down, I don't know.
Riding the cart sound better?
I guess. I don't know.
He couldn't walk off the field. Either way. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I guess it's like, I do think that sometimes the vision of carted off is like you're laid up, you got an air cat, it's just like, oh my God, everybody's surrounding them.
Giving the thumbs
and
up.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, bring me the cart. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some way to sort of just give a little more description to the situation. But no one knew. No one knew at the time.
To the sideline. Something like that was like, carted to the sideline, and then from there was more walking. I don't know, some specifics in there.
I mean, I know this. You don't want to see your quarterback carted off or riding a cart.
Exactly.
Right?
Just decided to take a little cart ride to the locker room.
You want to see your quarterback using his own 2 feet. Get out there and walk around a little bit.
Yeah.
If they're riding a cart and or carted off, it's not where you want them to be.
Right. And if you saw, I mean, that's the thing. You could say that, what Nick Wright's saying, and then, yep, he blew his Achilles. You told us he just had a little
Don't
cart
worry,
ride.
guys. He wasn't carted off.
Yeah.
He just rode the cart off. Yeah, I don't know. That's the first time I've heard that one.
Yeah, I mean, texter on YouTube, I hate your video, says, I hear carted off, I think ACL or Achilles. I do too. But that's the thing. I mean, all you can really do is say what happened and then and wait for the results, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
sorry, Jim, don't tell me bad company's good.
I'm
not getting in this argument today.
I thought it was bad the first time when I started seeing the Justin Fields stuff, and now apparently he's out there just running around and throwing the ball all over the place.
That's great.
So good for him.
That is great to see.
Good for him.
I mean, you got to be. Texas says maybe let him drive the car. That's a good point. Drove himself into the locker room. Should be fine.
Justin Fields has stolen the cart, Marshawn Lynch style, and he's riding all through the field. Did you see Aaron Rodgers respond to Terry Bradshaw this weekend?
I did not. What did he say?
He did an NFL Network interview. You remember the comments Bradshaw had about it was on a radio station, and he was talking about he should go chew bark or whatever they do in California, and it's a joke that the Steelers have interest in him. Anyway, Kyle Brandt from NFL Network brought that up, and Rodgers gave an actually for Aaron Rodgers like pretty thoughtful answer. He's like, Terry Bradshaw is a legend, and we're standing on the backs of all these guys that have built the game, and that's why we're paid like kings now because they laid the foundation. And I would love for Terry Bradshaw to take the chance to get to know me because I think if he did, we'd have a nice friendship. A high road taken by Aaron Rodgers that you don't see happen very often.
Well, it's a smart move. Being as he's this Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback this year, I promise you he'll go on McAfee in a couple years and be like give some internet conspiracy theory about Terry Bradshaw as like an alien or something. I guarantee you that'll happen.
Yeah.
Did you know that Terry Bradshaw actually came from the planet Condor? Sorry, Candor. My bad. Dang it! I even blew the joke. God.
Aaron Rodgers speaks with a lot of candor out there. It's good to see. But we'll see if there's a relationship that Rodgers and Terry Bradshaw are able to build now.
Well, all I know is Aaron Rodgers may be a more talented guy, more accomplished in terms of his individual achievement. But take away those 4 Super Bowls from Terry Bradshaw, you could say he's a passenger. I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers will never do anything better than Terry Bradshaw's role in Cannonball Run. So that's all I'm saying. Terry Bradshaw in Cannonball Run, strong. You never did anything like that, Aaron Rodgers.
Terry Bradshaw in failure to launch, however, scar you for life. See a little bit too much.
Okay.
See a little bit. It's good. It's fine performance. You see a little bit too much of Terry Bradshaw in that movie.
I forgot about that part. That must be PTSD.
Measuring cheek size.
Legitimately.
I was probably never going to watch that movie again, but no, I definitely won't. Thank you.
It's got McConaughey in it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
No Affleck in there. Bradley Cooper's in there too.
Not
bad.
All right.
That does
Superman saw it this weekend. Pretty good. Pretty good, guys.
Right.
Superman's better than I thought. Yes.
All right. That does it for us today. We will be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Jason Big Joe up next. You're listening to 102.5, 106.3 The Game.